everyone. I am Rosalind Hanson, Supervisor of Fine Arts, and I welcome you to another year of great entertainment provided by our very own St. Tammany Parish Public Schools students. We know our students lead the way in talent, skills, and creativity. Before we begin, I'd like to recognize our board members. Please hold your applause. Board President, Ms. Beth Heinz, Mr. Michael Derman, Mr. Jack Luke, Mr. Brandon Harrell, Mr. Michael Winkler, Mr. Ron Betancourt, Mr. James Bro, Mr. Dennis Kuzan, and Ms. Lisa Page. Please also help me recognize Superintendent Mr. Trey Foss, Associate Superintendent Mr. Peter Jabia, Assistant Superintendent Ms. Amy Lemaine, and Assistant Superintendent Mr. Mike Kosei. Thank you. Before we introduce our September entertainment, I'd like to call your attention to the artwork displayed in the atrium celebrating International Dot Day, which is this Sunday, September 15th. The day is based off of Peter H. Reynolds' book, The Dot, which challenges individuals to celebrate and express their unique creativity. As the story goes, begin with the mark and see where it takes you. The students from Honey Island Elementary began their creative journey and will lead the way in making their mark in the world. Art teacher Ms. Krisha Tong helped these students to start with a dot. So please take some time after the entertainment to take a look at their artwork. And now for the September entertainment presented by Covington High School music, theater, and dance students. They are under the direction of several teachers: Cedric Bridges, Kayla Blanchard, Gary Mendoza, and Holly Flatman. Let's first welcome the chorus students presenting A Tisket, a Tasket.
I sent a letter to my mommy on the way subjects of the crown? Are you peering up at the castle with a question mark in each eye, throbbing to know how stands the king on his bridal eve, churning with curiosity at the king's humor on his prenuptial night? Yes, that's exactly what you're doing. Every last blessed one of you. I know what my people are thinking tonight, as home through the shadows they wander. Everyone smiling in secret delight as they stare at the castle and ponder. Whenever the wind blows this way, you can almost hear everyone say, I wonder what the king is doing tonight. What merriment is the king pursuing tonight? The candles at the hall, they never burned as bright. I wonder what the king is up to tonight. How goes the final hour as he sees the bridal bower being legally and regally prepared? Well, I'll tell you what the king is feeling tonight. He's scared. He's scared. Oh, so you mean that the king who fought a dragon, whacked him in two and fixed his wagon, goes to be wed in terror and distress? Yes. A warrior who's so calm in battle, even his armor doesn't rattle, faces a woman petrified with fright. Right. You mean that appalling clamoring that sounds like a blacksmith hammering is nearly the banging of his royal knees? Please, you wonder what the king is wishing tonight. Well, he's wishing he were in Scotland and fishing tonight. What occupies his time while he's waiting for his bride? He's searching high and low for some place to hide. And oh, the expectation, the sublime anticipation he must feel about his wedding night to come. So, I'll tell you what the king is thinking tonight. He's numb, he's quailed, he quakes, he shakes, and that's what the king is doing tonight.
Thank you very much. My name is Gary Mendoza. I'm the talented theater teacher at Covington High and the director for the production of Camelot. That was Justin Boss. He is playing King Arthur in the show, and he was singing, if you haven't figured it out, I Wonder What the King is Doing Tonight. Camelot runs next week. You all should have little flyers on your card, on your seats to help you remember. It is Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday nights at 7. Camelot is the story of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, this is the Lerner and Loewe musical. Story was told, transported to that by The Once and Future King, which is a story that students in St. Tammany Parish do read. And eventually, way back when, it was told by Alfred Lord Tennyson. The story, up next we have Elizabeth Lewis playing Guinevere and Jacob Simmons who plays Lancelot. Now, if you're familiar with Camelot and the story of King Arthur, Guinevere, and Lancelot, you know that theirs is a story of love that should have never been. And following them will be the villain, because what's a good story without a villain, right? Nothing. The villain, Mordred, played by Simon Rucker, singing The Seven Deadly Virtues.
Turn to years. I have so much forgetting to do before I try to gaze again at you. Stay away until you cross my mind, barely once a day.
Stay away until I wake and find I can smile and say
that I can gaze at you again
without a blush or a cry.
eyes will shine like new again, my manner poised and calm. Stay far away, my love far away, till I forget I gazed at you today, today, today.
Those 7 deadly virtues, those ghastly little traps. Oh no, my lord, they were not meant for me. Those 7 deadly virtues are made for other chaps who love a life of failure and ennui. Take courage. Now there's a sport. An invitation to the state of rigor mort. And purity, a noble yen. And very restful every now and then. I find humility means to be hurt. It's not the earth the meek inherit, it's the dirt. Honesty is fatal and should be taboo. Diligence of fate I would hate. If charity means giving, I give it to you, and fidelity is only for your mate. You'll never find a virtue on statusing my quo or making my guilty bubble burst. Let others take the high road, I will take the low. I cannot wait to rush in where angels fear to go. With all those 7 deadly virtues, free and happy little me has not been cursed.
Be sure to get tickets to go see Camelot at Covington High School this week. To close out our evening, we bring up again our chorus students, and we will also have some dance students for the second number, and they're going to share some more tunes from the swing era.
Days can be sunny with never a sigh. Don't need what money can buy. Birds in the trees sing their day full of song. Why should we sing along? I'm chipper all the day, happy with my lots. How did I get that way? Well, look at what I've got. I got rhythm, I got music, I got my man who can ask for anything more. I got daisies in green pastures, I got my man who can ask for anything more. Old man trouble, I don't mind him, you won't find him around my door. I got starlight, I got sweet dreams, I got my man who can ask for anything more. Somewhere there's music, I'll fade the tune. Somewhere there's heaven, I'll hide the moon. You're Won't you stop and take a little time out with me? Just take 5, just take 5. Stop your busy day and take the time out to see I'm alive, I'm alive. I'm going out of my way just so I can pass by each day. Not a single word to be said. It's a pantomime and not a play. Still I know where I myself to be. I can tingles down to my feet, and your smile that's much too discreet sends me on my way. Now wouldn't it be better not to be so polite? You could offer a lie. Start a little conversation now, it's alright. Just take 5. Ba-ba-da-be-da, dee-dee-dee-da, ba-ba-da-be-da, take 5. Ba-ba-da-be-da, 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 take 5. Ba-ba-da-be-da, 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 take 5. Ba-ba-da-be-da, ba-ba-da-be-da, take 5. Here's what you do, baby, take 5. You know it's true, baby, now I'm alive. Relax a while, baby, take 5. You make me smile better when I'm alive. Take it, now baby, take 5. Break it, how can I survive? Baby, they'll say that we're through. Baby, you know I love you. So I'm going out of my way just so I can pass by each day. Not a single word to be said. It's a pantomime and not a play. Still I know our eyes often meet. I feel tingles down to my feet, and your smile is much too discreet sends me on my way. Wouldn't it be better not to be so polite? You could offer a lie. Start a little conversation now, it's alright. Just take 5. Offer me your hand. It would be so grand. Baby, take 5. Take 5. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-da. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do-wah, 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 do-wah. It don't mean a thing, all you got to do is sing. Do-wah, 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 do-wah.
It makes no difference if that rhythm is sweet or hot.
Just give that rhythm everything, everything you got. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do-wah, 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 do-wah.
Thank you, students. You talk about throwback Thursday, we're throwing it way back to the swing era, huh? I hope you enjoyed tonight's performance. Parents of these students that are here, if you could please stand. We thank you for your support. We thank you because we know behind every great performing artist are the great parents. And of course the teachers. If the teachers will please stand up, and we thank you as well. Thank you again. Don't miss STPPS, Covington High's production of Camelot, and be sure to take a look at the artwork posted tonight by Honey Island Elementary students and how they started with a dot. Have a good evening.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to our September 12th school board meeting. Ms. Coakley, would you call the roll for us?
Mrs. Hines?
Here.
Mr. Green? Mr. Derman? Mr. Loop? Mr. Harrell? Mr. Nation? Mrs. Richardson? Mr. Winkler? Mrs. Drucker? Mr. Bentoncourt? Mrs. Laney? Mr. Hersey? Mr. Bro? Mr. Kuzan? Mrs. Page?
Thank you very much, Ms. Coakley. Would everyone please rise and join us in the invocation and pledge led by Mrs. Page?
Let us pray. Lord, I thank you for bringing us all here safe this evening. I pray that you just give us wisdom and endurance with all the decisions that we have to make. Lord, I pray you be with our board, be with our central office staff, our principals, our teachers, but most of all, I pray that you be with our students. We ask all these things in Christ's name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And again, I'd like to welcome you to our September 12th meeting. Our first item on the agenda is recognition of visitors. Does any board member have someone they'd like to recognize? Mr. Bettencourt?
Thank you, President Hines. I see we have two people in the audience tonight running for Bessie Board, District 1. Ms. Lee Barrios is here and Coach Benora is here. Welcome to our meeting. And I hope one of y'all take Mr. Gravy's place.
Mr. Gravy.
Thank you, Mr. Bettencourt. Mr. Loop?
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Hines. It's with great pleasure that I get to introduce Dr. Alta Brown, who is a retired assistant superintendent from St. Anthony Parish Schools.
Dr. Brown, we're happy to have you here with us this evening. And we also have one of our former principals here, Ms. Janice Davison. Thank you for being here. We know why you're here tonight, some special awards. We're glad you're here with us. All right, we'll move on to our first item, which is special recognition. And I'm going to call Mr. Foltz forward. These are the National School Public Relations Association Awards. Mr. Foltz.
Thank you, Ms. Hines, board members. Our communications team is leading the way in Louisiana and on the national level. Tonight, I am proud to present to you their most recent communication award from the National School Relations Association, known as NSPRA. To win these awards, they competed against thousands of other school districts across the United States and Canada. Director of Communications Meredith Mendez, Communication Manager Angela Davison, and our Communications Specialist Chris Yendel did an outstanding job for their strategy and effectiveness of telling our story last year. And because of that, we won 10 different national awards. So let me go over a few of those with you. The team won NSPRA's top prize, the Gold Achievement Award for our We Will theme from the 2018-19 school year. Yes, thank you. This award recognizes extraordinary work in all aspects of public school relations, communication, marketing, and engagement. Through the We Will theme and our monthly power words, we've had consistent messages being communicated throughout the school year at all levels. Very proud to say that our communication department works with our schools to tell the stories by submitting pictures and videos, highlighting what happens each and every day on our campuses and inside our classrooms. Having our teachers and our students show us what is going on in the schools is a powerful, powerful message to showcase our schools and demonstrate our value to the community. I want you to take a look at a school-submitted video that put together by the communication department. It's a very short, simple story, but it tells an amazing story indeed. These initiatives continue to expand to our social media footprint, and I'm proud to tell you that we have the largest Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter following of any school system in the state of Louisiana. We have an opportunity each and every day to tell our story. This team also received the Inspiro Award of Excellence for the social media campaign called We Can Do That. This campaign shows our students living out the We Will theme, showcasing the skills they have learned as evidence of their success in preparing them for the future. Here's one example.
My name is Austin Juno. I'm a senior ProStar student at Lakeshore High School, and today I'm finna teach you how to chop an onion. So now what I'm gonna do is when you look at the onion, you see you have this part right here, and then you have like kind of the root. You wanna cut right down the middle of that, so I'm gonna do that now. Alright, so then you have two beautifully cut halves of onion. Now, when you do this part, what you wanna do is you wanna take the onion and you wanna go opposed from the root side, which is this one right here, because that holds the onion together as you're chopping. You want to go ahead and you want to make little vertical slits into the onion, and you want to just kind of do that about like 1/8 of an inch apart. Chop this part off, make it nice and clean. So then the next part that you want to do is you don't really have to do this, but this is kind of like something that helps out. You want to take your knife and you want to cut horizontally into the onion. This kind of makes the dicing just a little bit easier for it. Go ahead and just chop it like that to mince it further and get smaller pieces. But after that, you're basically done. And that, my friends, is how to chop an onion.
I just love that closing when he said, "That, my friends, is how you chop an onion," you know? Those videos, those how-to, we can do it videos were watched by over 30,000 viewers on our social media. The team also won 2 merit awards, one for the social media series inside our classroom and the other for the overall branding of our We Will theme. We also brought home 3 awards in social media category. Going beyond social media, the team also won awards for our e-newsletters. We put out one externally that goes to our St. Tammany community, and every Sunday at 5 p.m. we put out one that goes to administrators called Trey's Team Talk. And lastly, they won an infographic award for the design of our 55 schools and their fast fact sheets that we distribute to each and every parent. So I must tell you, and I know you agree, that I am super, super proud of this team and the work that they're doing. A lot of their work goes on behind the scenes, but they certainly deserve the recognition that we're given here tonight. So from strategic communications to social media, they indeed are helping to tell our story and helping us lead the way. So I'm going to ask all 3 of them to come up with one of the many plaques that they won, and we'll take a quick picture if that's okay. So Meredith, Chris, and Angela, congratulations, and thank all 3 of you for your work. Chris usually uses the camera, so this time somebody else.
You want to do a selfie?
No. All right, we're putting Janice to work here. All right. Come on. Here we go. Congratulations. Thank you, Ms. Hines.
Thank y'all. You know, it's been a real pleasure to watch over the years the communications department develop. And who would have ever thought they would be such an important part of our school system, but you really are. And we appreciate you so much. And I just think the work you do, the quality is just amazing. And it's very true. The highlights that come out of what's happening in our school system is very powerful. And I want to thank you all very much. I just figured out last night how to set the school system Facebook page on my Facebook to come up as my first thing every day. So I was like, oh, I love this. I'm going to get this positive message every morning. So thank you all very much. I appreciate the work you do every day. It's so creative. All right, let's move on to our next item, which is public comments. And for 5 minutes, we have two people who signed up. The first one is Miss Sherry M. Cultura. Miss Cultura?
I haven't seen her. Have you seen her? No.
I do not see her in the audience. All right, well, we'll skip to the next one, which is Marion Coach Benura, candidate for Bessie, District 1.
Thank you for having me, giving me this opportunity tonight. I'm Marion Benura, known by thousands of children and parents as Coach. I'm running for Bessie Board, District 1, which includes the parish of St. Tammany. After 12 years of my opponent's failed policies, Louisiana is ranked 48th in the nation in education. It's time for a change. If Mr. Garvey was a coach, he would have been fired 4 years ago with that record. As a former school board member in Jefferson Parish, I've had the pleasure to converse with some of you at conventions and workshops. I understand what your needs are and how to accomplish them. With 50 years of coaching and 21 years of teaching, I have the qualifications, leadership, and knowledge to move Louisiana to a competitive rating. I pledge to you and the people of this parish to be hands-on and open to any problem I can help you solve. I will not be missing in action as Mr. Garvey has been the last 12 years. I want to return local control of our schools. As you know, Act 1 limited your ability to effectively represent your constituents. Each school district knows its demographics and culture and what is needed to educate their children. I want to eliminate state-mandated curriculum. Do I need to say more? Common Core, Eureka Math, Tier 1. Inconsistencies has wasted money, throwing away textbooks at the cost of millions of dollars to taxpayers. I want to end unnecessary testing. Our children are taking too many tests, practice tests, placement tests, you name it, we have it. Mr. Garvey will give you all kinds of statistics that we are doing better. It's like the commercial, is just okay, okay? If all these statistics are so great, why are we still 48th in the nation? Simply put, his reforms haven't worked. I want to establish a fair, I'll repeat that word, fair teacher evaluation system. We know every child can learn, but not every child learns at the same pace. Therefore, one size does not fit all. Test scores are not an accurate indication of a teacher's effectiveness. It depends on many variables. What time of the day does that teacher's class take the tests? Is it in the morning? Is it after lunch? All these types of factors make a difference in their scores. I want to ease the teacher shortage by rehiring retired teachers. We can do that with a contract. No benefits, we don't have to worry about retirement, and we can bring people back part-time and fill the spots that we need. It's a win-win for everyone. I have a plan to accomplish these goals. Now I need your support. You can follow me on Facebook at electcoachb, or my web, electcoachb.weebly.com. I'm Marion Benura, and I want to be your Bessie Board representative. Vote number 33. And I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have them. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
for being here this evening. All right, we'll now move on to our 3-minute, and we have Ms. Lee Barrios who signed up to speak.
Good evening, everybody. Lee Barrios. I want to first welcome Mr. Benura from Jefferson Parish. We've been friends for about 4 years when he was on the school board in Jefferson Parish, and I was once again hawking my wares, running for Bessie. To my recollection, even our current Bessie representative, who is running for his fourth term, has only visited twice in the last 9 years, and yet Mr. Benura comes to visit us. Last night, Bessie candidates for District 1 and 2 were invited to speak at a forum hosted by the PTO of Audubon Charter School in New Orleans. Audubon is a beautiful school located in the Garden District in New Orleans. Their program is Montessori-based along with French immersion. It is a selective charter. Contrary to my expectation that they would be very defensive about their charter status, they in fact expressed the same concerns based on standardized testing, Common Core standards, and the forced scripted curriculum mandated by Bessie. Although the charter model is promoted as being free to innovate and is free from some of the many of the laws and oversight traditional schools must comply with, Bessie's reform policies have created huge obstacles that threaten their program. Autonomy from their local New Orleans school board does not carry with it autonomy from the oppression of the State Department of Education. While they appreciate the opportunities for their students at Audubon, they also want every child in Louisiana to have the same opportunities. Their questions were directed at finding solutions to bring that about without risking the closure of their school. They could plainly see that the first step is to elect a new Bessie. Next Wednesday at 5:30, the Louisiana Public School Coalition, formed by the Louisiana Superintendents Association, the Louisiana School Board Association, the Louisiana Principals Association, and both unions, is hosting a public forum at North Shore Community College in Lacombe to hear candidates for Bessie District 1 and to hear public input. I hope the school board advertises this event widely, especially to St. Tammany School employees, so they can be educated about their options for electing their Bessie representative. I've received public support for my campaign from 5 of you individually, and I'd like to hear from the remaining 10 of you that each of you also support me for Bessie. It's important for me to know that we have the same goals for public education, and I believe it would be very significant for the public in making their choice for Bessie representative. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barrios. Okay, now we'll move on to our agenda items. The first one is approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held on August 8th, 2019. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes? I have a motion by Mr. Betancourt and a second by Ms. Drucker. Do we have any comments from board members? Do we have any comments from the public? Would everyone please vote to approve the August 8th, 2019 minutes? We have 15 yeas. Motion passes. Our next item is approval of the minutes from the special meeting held on August 8th, 2019. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes? Mr. Green, and a second, please. Ms. Richardson, thank you so much. Do we have any questions from board members? Any comments from the public? If not, would you please vote to confirm the special meeting minutes from August 8th, 2019? 15 yeas, that motion passes. Our next item is approval of the minutes from the public hearing held on August 22nd, 2019. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes from the public hearing? Ms. Lamy, second. Mr. Kuzan, could you make a second for that? Thank you. Do we have any questions from board members on the minutes from the public hearing? Any questions from the public? If not, would everyone please vote to approve those minutes? We have 13 yeas, 2 abstentions. Those minutes pass. Our next item is appropriate retirement resolutions for the following certificated personnel subsequent to August 8th, 2019. Mr. Jabbia.
Thank you, Ms. Heinz. Good evening, board members. First is Bronwyn M. Zweifel, Abita Springs Elementary, 20.89 years, 16 years in St. Tammany Parish. Mary T. Hotard, Bayou Lacombe Middle, 36.59 years, 13.04 years in St. Tammany Parish. James W. Bell, Mandeville High, 25.14 years, 13 years in St. Tammany Parish. Jerry F. Lowe, Mandeville Middle, 24.55 years, 21.72 years in St. Tammany Parish.
All right, I have a motion from Mr. Nation and a second from Mr. Winkler for the retirement resolutions for the certificated personnel subsequent to August 8th, 2019. Do we have any questions regarding this? Any questions from the public? If not, would everyone please vote to accept those retirement resolutions? We have 15 yeas. Our next item is appropriate retirement resolutions for the following non-certificated personnel subsequent to August 8th, 2019. Mr. Jabbia.
Thank you. Lynn M. Franklin, Bonnie Cole Elementary, 25 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. I'd like to skip the second one. No, I'm not going to do it. Aaron B. O'Ramus, Central Office, 29.54 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Ronald D. Baptiste, Covenant Warehouse, 18.64 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Stephen D. Seal, Information Technology, 17.51 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Vivian S. Jones, Sixth Ward Elementary, 22.27 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Deborah A. Peters, Chafuncta Middle, 1.89 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Simon Baptiste Jr., Transportation Center, 20.84 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Robert T. Creel, Transportation Center, 29.38 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Mary M. Ferrara Gaspard, Transportation Center, 24.93 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Gina N. Graham, Transportation Center, 25.66 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. And Cindy B. Touchstone, Transportation Center, 29.07 years, 28.07 years in St. Tammany Parish.
I have a motion by Mr. Liu. All right, a unanimous second. Mr. Derman, does everyone agree to a unanimous second? All right.
Ms. O'Ramus is here. She won't hear her name.
Yes, we know. Any questions from board members?
Yeah, I thought we did a unanimous second, then she had to speak.
No.
Any comments from the public? All right, if not, we'll vote on the retirement resolutions for the non-certificated personnel. Would everyone please cast their vote? We have 15 yeas. Well, I want to say that I want you all to enjoy your retirements. You've worked very hard for it, and we hope you enjoy it to the max.
She's leaving.
She's out.
Last day, Pete?
Last day is the 30th of this month.
Oh.
Looks like it was today.
Aaron is definitely a gem in your department. All right, our next item is a certification of board members Elizabeth B. Heinz, Matthew E. Green, Michael J. Derman, Stephen J. Loop, Michael C. Nation, Shelta J. Richardson, Michael E. Winkler, Ronald Betancourt, Tammy Lamy, Richard Hersey, James Bro, Dennis S. Kuzan, Lisa M. Page, and completion of 1 hour of training for 2019 presented on September 5th, 2019, as mandated by Louisiana Revised Statute 17:53. Mr. Falls.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Heinz, I do indeed certify that the above-named board members did complete the training as presented.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to our next item, which is approval of the recommendations from the Committee as a Whole meeting for Human Resources and Education held on September 5th, 2019. And Mr. Kuzan has that report for us.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee as a whole for the St. Tammany Parish School Board of Human Resources met on September the 5th, 2019, and have the following recommendation. We recommend acceptance of rewriting the job description for the internal auditor position, and I so move.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Kuzan and a second by Mr. Nation. Do we have any comments from board members? Any comments from the public? If not, we'll vote on that recommendation. We have 15 yeas. Motion carries. Mr. Kuzan, does that complete your report?
Madam President, that completes my report.
Thank you very much. Our next item is approval of the recommendations from the Committee as a Whole meeting for Business Affairs and Administration held on September 5th. And for that, I'll call on Mr. Derman.
Thank you, Ms. Heinz. And as you said, we have just one recommendation from our Business Affairs and Administration Committee, and that is recommends acceptance of a resolution adopting the superintendent's proposed budget for the fiscal year of 2019 to 2020. And I so move.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Derman and a second by Mr. Green. Do we have any comments from board members? Before we go to comments from the public, I'd like to say that, we know that there's a lot of work that goes into getting the budget together every year, and we appreciate all the effort that Mr. Volz and his staff, specifically Ms. Prevost, put into developing the budget. We appreciate the input from the public at the public hearing, and with this, it'll be the final acceptance of that budget. Do we have any comments from the public? If not, would everyone please vote on accepting the resolution for adopting the superintendent's proposed budget for fiscal year 2019-2020? We have 15 yeas. Mr. Derman?
Yes, ma'am. We got 17 more items to report on. Just kidding. That's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Hines, before you do your announcements, I would like to take the opportunity. I got this letter today from Miss Gammon's fifth grade class at Brock Elementary, and they sent to me Mr. Flat Stanley. And the
Sorry, I didn't quite
And Miss Lamy has given me a quick orientation on Flat Stanley. I've learned a lot right in the last 30 minutes. So he's going to be with me moving around, and I would like to let's get a group picture with Flat Stanley before y'all go today. And then when I'm finished, I will be going back to Brock Elementary's fifth grade class, Miss Gammon's class, to share Flat Stanley's experience. So it came today. It sounded like a fun thing to do. I've just looked a little bit at it, and we'll learn some more. And I think it'll be fun for us, and it'll be a great opportunity for me to go visit with those students and get to see them. So I'm excited about it. And so we can get a group picture before the meeting's over, or when the meeting's over. That'd be great.
Thank you very much. Sounds like a fun weekend for you and for Flat Stanley.
We need a little fun on this board.
All right, I have the following announcements this evening. We would like to thank the third grade students from Whispering Forest Elementary for their artwork on display in the atrium. Their art teacher is Miss Kirsha Tong. Hope I pronounced that properly. It's very nice artwork hanging on the wall, so if you haven't had the opportunity to view it, please take the time to do that. Our second announcement is we would like to thank the choral, music, and dance students from Covington High for entertaining us this evening prior to the board meeting. They are under the direction of choral teacher Kayla Blanchard, music director Cedric Bridges, and dance instructor Holly Flatman. It was a wonderful performance, full of energy, and we look forward to their presentation of Camelot next weekend at Covington High School. The October Committee as a Whole meeting will be held on Thursday, October 3rd at 6 p.m. All schools and central office sites will be closed on Friday, October 4th for the parish fair holiday. The Principal of the Year and Teacher of the Year reception will be on Thursday, October 10th at 6 p.m. prior to the board meeting. Please remember to check Board Docs handouts for meetings and event notices. And as Ms. Barrios reminded us, there is a Bessie Forum on Wednesday, September 18th at North Shore Technical Community College. And what time does it begin? 5:30. All right. Thank you all for being here this evening. I declare the meeting adjourned.